Imagine a land nourished by the Blue Nile. Here, the Kingdom of Kush rose from the mists of ancient Nubia. From its capital at Meroe, a city resonating with the clang of iron and the whispers of pharaohs, Kush dominated trade routes stretching north into Egypt and west across the Sahara. But a new power was emerging in the highlands of Ethiopia and Eritrea. Axum. Axum was a kingdom forged in the crucible of Red Sea trade. Its wealth swelled from the ivory, gold, and frankincense coveted by Rome and India. Axum's strategic location offered unparalleled access to maritime trade. Its ships, laden with exotic goods, sailed from Adulis, its bustling port, directly to the markets of the Roman Empire and the Indian subcontinent, bypassing Kush's traditional land-based dominance. The stage was set, not just for a clash of armies, but for a struggle over resources, influence, and the very lifeline of ancient commerce. For centuries, the Kingdom of Kush thrived along the Nile. From its capital at Napata, established around 750 BCE, and later Meroe, Kushite kings ruled over a vast territory, their power built on agriculture, iron production, and masterful control of vital trade routes. Their economy flourished, exporting gold, ivory, ebony, and frankincense to Egypt and the Mediterranean world. Kushite culture, deeply influenced by Egypt, was uniquely its own. They constructed pyramids, worshipped Egyptian deities alongside indigenous gods like Apedemak, and developed their own Meroitic script. But by the 3rd century CE, Kush's dominance began to wane. Exhaustion of resources, particularly timber for iron smelting, played a crucial role. Deforestation around Meroe, evidenced by archaeological surveys revealing depleted woodland, likely impacted agricultural productivity. Shifting trade routes, with the rise of maritime commerce bypassing Kush, fatally weakened its economic foundation. Coupled with internal political fragmentation and the emergence of powerful neighboring kingdoms, like Axum, Kush became increasingly vulnerable. The once mighty kingdom, weakened by environmental strain and economic shifts, was ripe for conquest. From the ashes of Kush's decline, Axum bloomed. Its strategic heartland, nestled in the highlands of modern-day Eritrea and northern Ethiopia, offered a unique advantage. Unlike Kush's reliance on the Nile, Axum prospered from consistent rainfall, vital for agriculture, and less susceptible to drastic climate fluctuations. This allowed for sustained population growth and resource management. But Axum's rise wasn't solely environmental. The kingdom mastered ironworking, forging superior weaponry, evident in archaeological finds at sites like Mayagam. Their military prowess, showcased in the 4th century Ezana inscriptions detailing conquests, stemmed from disciplined infantry and cavalry, a stark contrast to Kushite armies, which were increasingly reliant on outdated tactics. Furthermore, Axum strategically controlled access to vital resources: gold from the western highlands, ivory from the interior, and, crucially, the port of Adulis. This coastal city became a nexus for trade between the Roman Empire, Egypt, and India, generating immense wealth. Axumite coins, discovered as far afield as India, testified to their dominance in international commerce, wrested from Kush, whose weakened state left trade routes vulnerable. It was about controlling the very economic arteries of the region. But even the most robust trade networks cannot withstand the relentless pressure of a changing environment. The success of Axum and the decline of Kush are inextricably linked. Kush, for centuries, had relied on the fertile lands along the Nile for agriculture. But archaeological evidence suggests a devastating pattern of deforestation, driven by the demands of iron smelting and construction. The once lush forests that held the soil together vanished, leading to erosion and declining agricultural yields. Simultaneously, shifts in regional rainfall patterns, possibly linked to larger climate fluctuations, placed immense strain on Kushite agriculture. Some reports hint at prolonged droughts, exacerbating the problems caused by deforestation. The once reliable Nile floods became erratic, disrupting the carefully planned agricultural cycle that sustained the kingdom. Axum, on the other hand, occupied a different ecological niche. While also facing environmental challenges, they seem to have adapted more effectively. Their location in the Ethiopian highlands provided access to diverse resources and rainfall patterns that were less susceptible to the same fluctuations that plagued Kush. Moreover, evidence suggests Axumite agricultural practices were more sustainable, focusing on terracing and water management techniques that minimize soil erosion. The control of water resources, coupled with a less environmentally damaging approach to resource extraction, gave Axum a crucial advantage in a world increasingly defined by scarcity. The shifting balance of power wasn't merely about military strength, it was a calculated game of economic chess. Kush, reliant on centralized control of trade routes funneling goods north along the Nile, found its arteries choked. Axum, strategically positioned near the Red Sea, fostered decentralized trade networks, drawing merchants with promises of lower tariffs and greater autonomy. The Periplus of the Erythraean Sea, a 1st-century navigational text, mentions Axum's bustling port of Adulis, a magnet for Roman and Indian traders. Axumite military strategy further exploited Kush's vulnerabilities. While Kush maintained a formidable, albeit traditional, infantry, Axum embraced innovative tactics, documented in later Ethiopian chronicles, employing mobile units and exploiting terrain to their advantage. More than that, the environmental pressures crippling Kush, deforestation leading to soil erosion, and reduced agricultural yields directly impacted their ability to provision their armies and maintain their trade infrastructure. Kushite granaries, once overflowing, dwindled, and the manpower available for both agriculture and defense diminished. Axum, with its more resilient agricultural base, effectively weaponized the environment, starving Kush of resources and weakening its capacity to resist. This wasn't merely conquest, it was a calculated exploitation of systemic weakness, a slow squeeze rather than a sudden blow. The fall of Kush opened a lucrative artery, ripe for the taking. Axum swiftly seized control of the trade routes linking Roman Egypt to India and the distant east. The caravans, once flowing north through Meroe, laden with spices, textiles, and precious metals, were now diverted east, to Adulis. Axum protected these trade routes, its military securing them against threats and levying taxes on every passing good, amassing a wealth that fueled further expansion and cemented its power. This wealth financed monumental architecture, the giant stelae that still pierce the sky, silent testaments to Axumite power, and it nourished a sophisticated court culture. Moreover, control over trade unlocked access to vital resources, including iron and other metals, further sharpening Axum's military edge. Geopolitically, Axum's rise shattered the existing balance of power. Alliances were forged, while others were subjugated, creating a network of tributary states that amplified Axum's influence. Kings like Ezana understood the power they wielded. Ezana's conversion to Christianity likely contributed to stronger bonds with the Roman world, a vital trading partner. The Axumite kings understood that resource management was power, controlling gold mines and the ivory trade, which allowed them to finance their formidable military and impressive infrastructure. The consequences of Kush's ecological strain are etched even today into the eroded landscapes near Meroe. The decline of Kush and the ascendance of Axum offers a stark, timeless warning: exploiting resources without considering the long-term environmental impact can lead to societal collapse. Examining the likely environmental factors, resource control, climate change impact that fueled the Axumite expansion and Kushite decline, rather than solely focusing on military prowess and political maneuvering, what lessons can we apply to ensure a sustainable future for our own civilization? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below.